Good evening, everybody watching. It has been 2 weeks since our last event here at CSGB Racing, but we return for round 7 at Austria. It's going to be a thrilling event tonight. Finally, we're back in the commentary box. Just myself tonight. I am Mr. B-Boy Worm. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to what will be a very interesting qualifying session. Of course, we have the 18-minute qualifying session, followed by a 50% feature race. And then after that, a reversed grid sprint race, which will be a 25% distance. After 2 weeks off, the drivers may be feeling some sort of rustiness in their driving seats, but we had a decent off-season race last week, which was not shown on the channel. But we are back tonight at Austria, the Red Bull circuit here in Spielberg. It's looking very overcast for the race, so let's see what some of the drivers can get up to as the early drivers are about to come out for their first flying laps. But first of all, we'll take ahead and look at some of the track information here for the Austria circuit.
The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill turn 3.
So as you can see, 3 DRS zones make up the Red Bull Ring here. The first activation zone just before turn 1 and the second just after the long uphill section up to turn 3. Speed trap is just before turn 4. We've only 10 corners here. It's very short, it's very fast and very nippy, as it was spoken to you before. So 3 DRS sections, a lot of overtaking, a lot of fast-paced movement. There's the map for you. Let's get back onto the cars on track and see what times they can set. First man to get us underway is the American Vapor Cobalt, taking part here for the season return. The second half of the season is now underway, and he brings us across the line on the soft side. A soft medium strategy is the one most drivers will be going for tonight, or the reversed strategy. But either way, it's medium to soft or soft to medium, and the drivers will be pushing those tyres to the absolute limits as we come up to turn number 3 with a Vapor Cobalt. A car in his way. He will need to get out of the way, and he does, as he slams on the brakes now into turn 4. Long right hander, easy to get the power down too quickly out of there and end up in the gravel if you're trying to overcorrect your steering. Isaac Racer joins in, the only racer we're missing, but we have a full grid tonight, all drivers, no reserves at all. But Vapor Cobalt is coming to the final part of this track now, up to turn 9 and 10. A little change down on the gear, I suppose, as you can see, down to 7th. Hold it on the exit, easy to invalidate there as he brings it around the final corner. He keeps it to the line, foot to the floor, and sets a 103.4, so a very respectable time for the Williams driver. As Rappel now brings the car to the line, and he goes pole just ahead of Cobalt with a 103.4, and Sly Guy beats that by a second. The man who's turned up this season in fighting form with a 102.4, and Max just behind splits to 2 previous time setters with a 102.8, so some already electric times in here as Kazakh sets the lap time. Is it Noah Jones next to the line? It will be. He is invalidated, unfortunately, so he's going for another run on the medium tyres. We have a Renault coming to line. That will be Ryder, and he joins his teammate at the top of the leaderboard, so it's 1-2 currently for the Renault pairing. We have an AlphaTauri banking turn 9. We'll see who it is. It is Rain Man coming to the line. Here we go then. And he puts himself in 6th position. We'll jump on board with Jay Wizzy, who's flying to the line. He's going to try and put a respectable lap time just behind his teammate. I thought it'd be there or thereabouts, and he is. So it's 1-2 for the Renaults, 3-4 for the Racing Point team. And you see a lot of drivers coming to the pit lane now, and that should be lap sort of 1 complete for the majority of the drivers. We just see Noah Jones go to start another lap, so we'll start right on board with the Ferrari on the medium tyres. He's going for a alternative strategy as we cannot see where he's going. There's a car going to pit lane. He needs to get out of the way. Schreiber does. Here he comes then, round turn number 9, and the very tight turn 10 that opens up for the exit. Doesn't choose to take all the curb. He comes to the line and sets a 104.1. It's only good enough for 10th position on medium tyres, but that is what he'll be aiming for. As one of the McLarens comes to the line, we'll have a look and see who that is. That's Jay Prentice starting a lap, so we'll stay on board with the McLaren and see what lap times he can set. Also on the soft tyres, rocking the orange and black helmet. The same orange as the car he's driving. Purple sector 1 though apparently, so we'll see if that's just a glitch. But the McLaren is now tearing down DRS straight number 2, and it'll be hard on the brakes into turn 4. Just trying to kiss the inside apex on the exit, try and cut that line as short as you can, and he'll run off, I'm sure, wide here to try and flick it down into turn at number 6. Very easy to invalidate there. He just about keeps it in the limits. It's telling me he's going purple again. I don't expect that to be the case, but you never know. Jay Prentice may be whipping out an absolute corker of a lap here as he flings it into turn number 9. Keeps the foot to the floor. They only choose to change down to 5th gear now. DRS wide open as he brings it to the line. It's a 103.8, 10th position for the McLaren driver. We're on board now with one of the Alfa Romeos, the team today that released their new livery for next season. Inverted colours for that team, but today we ride on board with the 2020 car of Oscar Sandblom. Let's see what he can deliver for us on this overcast day here in Spielberg. It's also telling me he's going purple. We'll have to wait and see if that's the case across the line, but City Sly Guy at the minute has set an absolutely corker of a time. Turn 9 then, and into turn 10. And he invalidates, cuts that too much. We'll jump on board with the Mercedes of Vapor Trench. He's bringing it to the line. He's looking quick, he's looking ready to rumble, and he rumbles himself into 9th place behind his Vapor friend, Cobalt, and that's 9th place for the Mercedes driver then. City Sly Guy, your current pole sitter, is now starting his 2nd flying lap. We're right on board with the Renault as he takes all of turn 1's curb and a little bit on the exit as well. Here he comes up then, the long straight, that also counts as turn 2. And he's going to be heavy on the brakes into turn 3. Picks the 100-metre board as his braking marker. He's gone purple. I wouldn't say that was unexpected. And he is flying now down the back straight to start his sector 2 time here as he comes round, hugs the inside line and tries to get as much of the exit he can. A little bit wobbly as he exits there, but that shouldn't have impeded him too much. Takes all the curb on entry, a little bit on exit, and all of the runoff area available to Hill 4 wheels of his. Comes across here nice and smoothly as we have to change camera angle to be able to get the development of the track. And here we come into turn 9, takes all the curb on entry and exit. Little bit of cut here should do. Run wide, takes every single line available to him. He pushed it to the line, and it's an improvement by just under 1/10. He increased his time at the top, 102.4, as Rappel puts himself earlier on there in between the two Renault boys. Netsky has only just managed a 102.8, so he is put himself in 4th position for now. Who else is coming to the line? Is that Max? It is. Maxi, the man himself, has not just a lap. That may have been just been his outlap, so we'll stay on board with Mesa. Rappel is coming to the line. Is anyone else on a flying lap? What are Williams up to now then? This may be Kazakh's coming to the line. He has come to the line, and he's improved by 2/10 and puts himself in the Racing Point sandwich for now. We'll try and find the next person to the line. Is it Rayman? It was. I don't think he improved though. Is Jay Wizzy going to improve? He's starting a lap, but I also know that Cobalt is starting a lap too. Cobalt nearly crashing into his teammate there. Looks like he's trying to get as much slipstream as he could from his teammate. As he nearly runs into the back, as we saw that happen at Britain during this race calendar. Earlier on, the two Mercedes collided, as Vapor Cobalt is just under a tenth up on his time, hitting the Sector 2 checkpoint as he has one sector to go, consists of about 2.5 corners, and does Sector 3 here at the Spielberg circuit, and he invalidates, and there's not really much time to Rex go into the pit lane there. He has Ryder right behind him. We're right on board with the Renault driver to see if he can push his teammate, or in fact Rappel. All he needs is a 500 improvement to get himself on the front row of the podium, and that's not going to do him any favours as he crosses the white line on exit, and that is an invalidation for him, unfortunately. Jay Wizzy then looking to improve, trying to dip into the 102 times, and 1 minute 2 seconds looking to be the quickest times in the minute. I'm sure Netsky will have a reply at some point, but in recent times Netsky hasn't been on his A game. I'm sure he'll be looking to try and extend his lead at the top today, but he has been put under pressure as the weeks go by. City Slide Guy puts him in top draw performances, and Rappel quickly taking up the points as well as he's joined halfway through the season. But here is Jay Wizzy in the pink Mercedes, also known as the Racing Point, fling it down the inside and the outside of the curve. Very tight, very easy to invalidate on this track. Oh, very slidey there it looked like, unless that was just a little bit of lag interruption. But he is into the pit lane, as you can see, by taking the early entry in. Is James Dovey coming to the line to set a lap? He looks like he is. The Red Bull driver comes across the line in a 103.5, only good enough for 12th position. Vapor Trench is starting his lap, and Tribe's jumped a few drivers there and put the car in 11th place at 103.3. Currently qualifying is very tight, as you can tell. Is Messerschmitt coming to the line? Has he just come to the line? No, he's on a flying lap. So we'll stay on board with the Haas driver to see if he can improve himself up the order and maybe join his teammate Rappel higher up the grid. Currently sat in a nice position though, Messer. 8th place. Won't be good for turn 1, but you can build a race from 8th place quite comfortably. He has Rayman right behind him on an outlap, but we'll see if he can improve. He's still pushing though, so it might tell us that he's up on his time. Takes all the curb on entry and exit. Opens the DRS, a bit of grass on the exit, and he loses nearly 1/10 of his time. So not the best situation for Messer, and he remains 8th place with 6 minutes to go. 6 minutes left in the qualifying session. And we'll jump on board with Vapor Trench, who's pushing, and he's coming to the line then, looking to put himself in the top 10. Is he? Will he? And just outside, unfortunately for him. We'll jump back on board with Rappel, who's pushing as well. Here he comes then to the line. Rappel improves by 1/10. Doesn't improve on the standings, but he does currently improve. And we have a car that's pulled out of the way, and that will be Oscar Sandblom now starting his lap in the Alfa Romeo, trying to pick up any little bit of slipstream he can from the car in front of him. And here he comes then up to turn number 3. Hard on the brakes will he be? 100 metre board is his brake zone. Turns in a little bit sharply there, has to sort of correct the steering wheel to get any straight line speed. He's looking to set a lap time for the first time with 5 minutes on the clock. A couple of yellow flags, but that will be the Renault getting out the way of the oncoming traffic, as rightly he should. But here comes the Orland sponsored car. Car number 71, shaking, vibrating on the outside apex. Flying down at 170 mile an hour now towards turn number 9. As you can see, the ball in the background, standing tall, the structure to represent the Red Bull ring. But here comes the Alfa Romeo to the line. He will set a lap time. Will it be any good? The answer is not particularly. 16th place for him, and he's probably wouldn't be too happy with that. Here comes Cohen Rob then, the Welshman, to the line. He's put himself up in the top 10. 8th position currently for the Mercedes, and I'm pretty sure he'll be quite happy with that one. IMAX though, just down his time as you saw the Sector 2 split, he flies up past the pit lane entrance and takes all of turn 9 and now turn 10. Oh, and he's nearly into the wall. In fact, he is into the wall. He's round. Wing damage for him. He's got to go all the way around again to even think about setting another lap time. And unfortunately for him, he was up on his time. It looks like he was pushing hard, and he found the wall with very little trouble there. His car just lost it on the back end, probably taking too much curve of turn number 10, and round goes the Racing Point. But now we're right on board with the Ferrari of Noah Jones, looking to pick up a few more points. To say he's been in the points every now and then this season, and he gets very close to the Racing Point there. But here he comes then, just down his sector 1 time, but he's pretty much neck and neck with his Delta. He'll remember the mistakes he made in previous lap attempts. But here comes the Ferrari, DRS open as he hard on the brakes down into turn number 4. Looking for the grip, he finds it and takes the shortest route on the inside. And flicks the car down the inside, gear 5 and gear 6, up to gear 7 for a moment as he just understeers away from the apex there. It pushed him out onto the next one. Probably lost a little bit of time there as we got green lights flashing, which is good to see. Down to 6th gear, we've seen a few drivers drop into 7th. But we've seen a few drivers drop it around his corner as well. And he drops his lap time and into the bin. And it validates the last corner. He was up on his time, but he will not be up on the scoreboard. And Messer is now starting a lap time. Let's see if he can improve. It's all very tight, all very close. And currently, our leader is Silly Sly Guy, the man who is currently sat in. Let me just get this up for you. Sly Guy is now currently sat in 3rd place after 3 wins in 2 wins in his last 3 races, winning the last 2 sprint races, one at Belgium and one at the United States, and picking up 2nd in the feature race around America too. So he's done a jolly fine show in his time racing after coming back from COVID-19. Rappel also putting in a fine performance, 3 wins in 6 races taking part in. So he'll be looking happy. The top 2, Netsky being pushed all the way to the end of this title as Messer comes to the line now and sets a 103 dead, and he's got up to 7th place, so a good job for him. We'll see what driver's going behind. I believe James Dovey is just starting a lap, or he is just starting a lap, so the traffic is all ahead of him. He's got out a little bit early as the drivers are now starting their final runs of the session. Traffic is going to be tight on this circuit. Jay Prentice bops out the way on the right side of the circuit. Messer's going to be able to tow James Dovey along here after staying his lap. He's going to have to get out of the way to not impede this Red Bull. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he will get out of the way. He's going to try and outdrive the car using hot lap. Messer does need to get out of the way. He's sort of towing him along, and what he's doing at the moment is just slowing the Red Bull driver down, is Messer. And that's causing invalidation. So that will be looked at the stewards. Poor driving from Messer, no awareness whatsoever. And he's going to be have a talking to, I think. James Dovey is going to go again though. Triby's called it a day. A few drivers calling it a day now. We'll stay on board and give James Dovey the lap he deserved on camera after his last one got ruined. No chopping changes yet on the scoreboard. Or is that Netsky out for a lap? We're on board with Netsky as he is on a flying lap ahead of James Dovey. Messer calls it a day too. For the AlphaTauri driver, your current leader of the championship, is coming in to now what is going to be the end of his sector 2, and he's just down ever so slightly on his time. Up a little bit of a wobble there. That will not help his time. Depends how well he nailed the final 2 corners on his previous recorded lap. He's still got to push, of course. There's no need to give it up yet. He will cross the line. This is his last chance to improve. Kazakh's go above him, goes ahead of him, and he retakes the position and another one as well. And that's 3rd place for Netsky. He will be on a 2nd row, right behind Rappel. So it's very tight at the top. As we now have the Red Bull of James Dovey coming to the line. 2nd time lucky this time around. We have a Mercedes going wide behind him, and Dovey increases his position to 13th on the grid. Colin Robb has finished. Vapor Trench jumps up alongside his teammate. We have a McLaren coming to the line. Is it Jay Prentice? It will be, and he will set a personal best of a 103.4, good enough for 18th position. We have a few drivers into the pit lane, and going from that, apart from IMAX, who's coming to the line now, that is qualifying done. He crosses the line, doesn't improve, and that is it for your return to qualifying. Very tight, as you can see at the top. Silly Sly Guy takes the pole position by 0.2 of a second, and all the way down the order, not even a whole, only a 1 second deficit, all the way down to 18th place. So a top job from the drivers here at Austria, and I'm sure they'll be very happy with their showing today. Very competitive as usual. You wouldn't expect anything else from these guys, and we're looking to have a great race. So let's run you through the final standings then. Silly Sly Guy takes pole position with Rappel in second place. Their final few races have been incredible from these two. Netsky under a bit of pressure again, starting from the second row with a Swedish compatriot next to him in fourth. That is Ryder. Kazakhs is fifth, IMAG sixth, Jay Wizian seventh, Messer is 8th, Tattoo Mercedes take 9th and 10th, Eklund is in 11th, Rainman takes 12th, Ferrari is in 13th, and that is represented by Noah Jones. Dovey takes 14th, Oscar Sandblom 16th, Tribe 17th, Prentice in 18th, Bowers in 19th, and Isaac Racer, the man who joined late, is not set a time, and he is currently in 20th position for now. So that is your current lineup, and we'll see what happens with the final preparation coming up in just a moment's time. So as you can see, the skies are grey here in Austria, in the forest surrounding the Spielberg area. Looks like rain may be on the cards. I've had no indication to say whether or not there is going to be, and you know what? I'm not going to. I'll take a look, see if I have been informed. Try it for have I been informed of weather? Dry to wet race, dry to wet to dry race. Very interesting. So we're going to have a bit of a tyre change somewhere in the middle of these 28 laps. Let me have a quick look at how many laps we are doing today. It might be 38. Could probably most likely 38 laps. But it's going to be dry to wet to dry, and the skies definitely show that will be the case. Track information then, here we go. We'll be doing 36 laps for the feature race and 18 for the sprint. So plenty of racing to get your teeth into tonight. Ladies and gentlemen watching, that is 4.3 kilometres per lap. I'll let you do the maths on how many that works out to be. And as you see, the cars are now on their formation lap. You see the soft medium to be the fastest strategical decision. I imagine a few drivers are starting on the mediums too, so we'll take a quick look to see what people have selected. And as you can see, top 10 softs, bottom 10 mediums, apart from Vapor Cobalt, who's taking a solo route on the softs. He's going to try and go through the pack as quickly as he can. But for now, we will run aboard with Sly Guy, and we'll hope that he'll get us underway nice and shortly indeed. But for now, we'll prepare ourselves for a very nice race, a nice little bit of action. It's been a couple of weeks since we've seen these boys fighting it out on track, and they're about to go head to head for the 7th time this season in a feature race. We're here at Austria, of course, the home of Red Bull, and Red Bull currently sitting in 14th and 17th respectively. Not a place Red Bull would like to be sitting in the real life grid, but currently they are sat at the bottom, I believe, of the Constructors' Championship standings. And I am correct, they are currently on 20 points so far this season. Next above them is Mercedes with a grand total of 61, so currently 41 points off the pace. AlphaTauri leading the way with Alfa Romeo right behind. So a good day for the Alphas. Let's see if they get us underway now. The green flags are being shown. We are getting engine sounds. Now we're getting lights, and the clutch has been engaged. So here we go then. It's lights out, and we are underway then to start the Austrian Grand Prix for round 7 here at CSGB. Rappel's going to go down the inside. He's going to make the move. Let's take a look, see how they come up to turn number 3. Rappel is ahead of the Austrian Grand Prix. So a good start there from the Haas driver, looking to try and take another load of points this time around. Pack seem to be a little bit split, but we don't seem to have any injuries or anyone out of the race. It looks like James Dovey and Rayman have been caught up in a little tussle at the back there. We have wing damage for the AlphaTauri driver. Do we have wing damage for the Red Bull? And the answer to that one is yes. So the sister cars of the Red Bull and AlphaTauri both have damage at the back there. Someone must have gone wide. Turn 1 turned into a very closed section. But Rappel currently leading the way. He's caught ahead of Sly Guy. And at the minute, we don't have anyone out of the race. But as I say that, Vapor Trench has gone round. We have an incident here. He's nearly into the wall, is the Mercedes driver. He's going to have to give way to these cars coming round, and he does. So, good man for that one. But we had an incident in the middle of the field, though. We have Colin Robb, his Mercedes teammate, into the pit lane very early on. Lap 1. We're sure he won't be the only one in there. Jay Prentice drops into the pits too. Probably have to go onto the hard tyres after starting the mediums, and Colin Robb does. They should go to the end. There or thereabouts. But after a very confusing start, we have a few drivers in the pit. Dovey, Rayman, of course, as we just saw, who are also joined by Jay Prentice and Carwin Robb. So a few drivers into pit lane. Rappel leads from Silly Sly Guy from Netsky, who has a Williams of Netsky, Kazakh, right behind him. Riders drop down a few positions, and the 2 racing points come swarming in behind. As we have DRS open on the next lap. Messer's currently sat in 10th position, and Ekeland is chasing the Haas driver. Now we have a few blue flags flying. I'm not sure why, but a few drivers given a bit of a... Oh, as we have a car go round. Who was that? Was that Rappel? Who went round? I've missed that completely. There is a Williams gone off. Messer and Cobalt all facing the wrong way. And we have a... Do we have a safety car coming out? We have a virtual safety. We have a yellow flag. And the safety car is fully out. So right into the action there. I didn't quite catch that. I saw Messer go for a spin. And Vapor Cobalt must have collided. He went wide at turn 10. A bit too much power. A bit too much throttle then for the Haas driver, and we have our first safety car of the return to the season, and this is going to allow those drivers at the back to just catch up after that horrid lap number 1 for some of these drivers. And as I said, DRS will be enabled for the next lap. We're going to have to wait a few more laps and then wait for a few more pit stops to arrive before we get that DRS opening. But at the back, we have James Dovey going back on to a fresh set of medium tyres. He has a new wing, of course. Colin Robb chooses to go on to the soft tyres. Rayman has put on a new set of softs as well, as he nearly collides with the safety car there, but doesn't. Trench CM 50th, he's right behind Prentice. These are the last of the pitters, and the back of the peloton, if you like to call it that, we have Oscar, who is dropping into the pit lane. He's somehow picked up damage as well. So the actual drivers who are in the race go down from 1st to 12th place, and we have 8 drivers behind, 2 of which are no longer racing. Messer and Cobalt are out of the race after a collision. I think it's a simple mistake from the Haas driver, and maybe another collision because of the non-ghosting in the lobby. But we have 2 drivers out, 4 laps in, and we already have a safety car to welcome our return to CSGB action and CSGB racing. Would not be online league racing without a safety car at some point, and we've been treated to one early on today. And I'm not sure that will be the last yellow flag intervention we have, whether that's virtual safety car or full safety car. But I think we've got a couple of more laps behind this, with a few pit stops having to be made. We'll take a quick look though at who's chop and change position. As you can see, Isaac Racer's put in a great shift from the back of the grid to 10th. He'd put in a very solid race last time out on his debut, picked up points for himself, so he did a good job. Rappel obviously got past Sly Guy on the start. Netsky hasn't moved, he's still in 3rd place, but he likes to leave it late. He'll keep it as simple as he can to try and make the moves as effective as he can. Kazakhstan Ryder have sort of placed, the racing points have stayed in position, and everyone from there has gone forward, and then the people behind have obviously been in incidents, so they've dropped down the grid. But a lively start, to say the least, as we begin another lap under the car of safetyness. And Rappel will get us underway in a lap or two's time, probably at the end of this lap to be honest, as the cars will catch up to the back as the Delta is telling them to slow down. Just about to say, this does bring in the question of whether or not it's going to rain, and I'm not sure if that was just my eyes playing tricks on me, but I may have just seen the first few droplets of rain. We're right on board with Rappel to see what he's seeing, and I think it is slowly starting to the heavens are slowly starting to open here in Austria. It's going to make the track a little bit slippery, but it's not coming down in steroids just yet as the Haas weaves to warm its tyres up. Probably should back up a little bit more to let the safety car time to get in, but it's going to be all about whether the tyres are going to hold their grip in these conditions. It's going to be sliding very quickly. I'm probably going to see someone spin out of turn number 10 on the safety car restart, but Rappel's about to get us underway. Hopefully he can give us a better camera angle than the one we're getting. But Rappel has jumped the gun. He's off underway, and we currently are racing yet again here in Austria. Carlton Robson himself up a 3-second penalty, the first of many, I'm sure, in today's feature race. And Rappel getting a little bit wobbly on the exit. That's going to allow silly Sly Guy up the inside of turn 3. Turn 3 hasn't even arrived yet, and the position's been made. Is Rappel going to fight back down the inside? He sure will give it a good go, will the Haas driver. A little bit wobbly, a little bit slippery is the track now becoming, and Sly Guy finally gets the move done. Is Netsky going to fancy his chances at getting in on the act? He's going to try and go around the outside. I can't actually see because the camera angle is absolutely shocking. A lock up from Rappel, and he holds his position, but these two fighting is just going to allow Sly Guy to pull away. He showed his pace in qualifying, that's for sure, and the conditions now really are getting a little bit slippery, so it's going to be a question of whether it's intermediates or wets for the drivers, and at the minute it looks like it's going to be intermediates all the way. Netsky though putting Rappel all under all kinds of pressure, should I say, and some of the cars you can see wobbling their way out of turn number 9 down to turn number 10. Very easy to track extend there. We have 2 penalties on the grid, that is Ryder and Carwin. Sly Guy sets the fastest lap. The question is, will DRS be open by the time the rain comes down? We had a chop and change in the midfield as Oscar and Tryby. Maybe Tryby had a little bit of a wobbly exit on the medium tyres. Jay Prentice looking to put him under pressure as they pass up turn 2, past the gravel section. All gets very tight. Jay Prentice seemed to have stopped momentarily, but no lasting damage done. But Oscar's going to look to go down the inside of Bowers now into turn number 4. He goes hard on the brakes, try not to slide now. We can see a few tyre marks imprinting themselves into the tarmac, and the soft tyres currently quicker than the mediums as you'd expect. Prentice does try past Tryby eventually. Tryby is still on the inside, so these two scrapping it out side by side. Now down to turn 7 and number 8, and the McLaren's got his way ahead, and CSGB Rainman trying to recover his race. He's back in and amongst the pack. He currently sits in 15th place at the back of Tryby, and he will not mind seeing them fight at all. But silly Sly Guy at the moment pulling away at the front of the grid. It's all getting a little bit spread out now A little bit of a wobble there from IMAG's Jay Wizzy. Might fancy his chance of getting past his teammate. But that will only tell us one thing, that the rain is coming down a little bit more every lap, every corner. The drivers will be feeling it now, but Tribe struggling in these conditions. And he's about to get passed by Carwin. Rob, is he? No, Tribe's going to send it back up the inside. Nice and strong on the brakes from the Englishman in the Red Bull at his home circuit. And it's currently a fight now between the Red Bulls and the Mercedes in the middle of the grid. We have Jay Prentice flying his way through the field on this fresh soft. He's got another position up, as does Isaac Racer, as he's now putting the Welshman of Noah Jones under all kinds of pressure, wide on the apex and sweeping it down into the inside of turn number 7. My voice is already going. That's not a good sign. I do apologise for the voice crack. But that's just part and parcel of talking on live broadcast. But here we go then. Down the inside of turn 9. Doesn't want to clip that curb too much. It's going to be wet now, and rightly so. He sort of backs off the back of Noah Jones, and that is going to be a few interesting decisions going on now. Isaac Racer, I did say just a moment ago, he was getting involved in a few battles going forward, but he's dropped back now behind Oscar, and Oscar's taken the final point position. A lock up though from Isaac. He's under pressure. Cobalt's finally left the session. He was watching for a little bit, but we are now evenly distributed across the track. 10 laps in already nearly, so the time is flying by on this track currently. Here comes Kazakhs then, looking on the back of Netsky. The rain's still coming down ever so slightly, but the tyres are just holding on for now. We have seen a few wobbles from some of the drivers. Rainman picks himself up 3 seconds of penalties in the rain, so not living up to his name as we speak, down in 14th position. Netsky and Rappel getting a little bit twitchy on the exit of turn 1, but a long DRS straight. DRS still enabled. Khan Rob picks up himself up another penalty. But Netsky closing in, outside to inside he wants, and they can't go down the inside because there is a Haas pot there. With the name Rappel just above his head. He'll come back though. He has DRS. He's going to go around the outside then of the straight, the DRS straight. He has to move down before the corner, and Rappel can't fight that one down the inside. He's too far back. And second place for Netsky. He will be on a charge then to try and hunt down the Renault ahead of him. Rappel's going to put him under all kind of pressure though, and I'm sure Sligo will be very happy to see some of those boys fighting in his rear view mirrors. The 2 Racing Points getting sliding close as they exit turn number 8, flinging themselves down to the detection point of the DRS for the main straight here in Austria. But not close enough to make a move yet. It's only going to let Eklund closing on behind. Maybe team orders may have to be distributed as we come up to a few pit stops. But Eklund's on the medium tyres, and they seem to be lasting a lot longer and holding up better than those Racing Point ones ahead of him on the softs. Rappel though back close and personal with Netsky, not close enough to make a move. Netsky takes a nice and wide entry so he can get the exit, and luckily there wasn't a Haas on his inside to take away his front wing. And the drivers keep it clean. They know there's no point risking it, as there will be pit stops very shortly if this rain does continue. But here goes then the chop and changing of the Racing Point drivers, and that will be Jay Wizzy past his teammate. But they're going to fight back. No, they're not. IMAX could have probably switched down the inside, but that space very quickly disappeared, and Jay Wizzy takes 6th place for now. Sligo's lead only getting bigger and bigger as we speak. Still no need to go onto the intermediate tyres. Still no pit stops happening. As I say that, one jumps into pits. That is going to be IMAX. Let's see what he goes on to, as those droplets of water are getting a little bit bigger now. And the one and only pit stops at sea. Let's see what tyres the Racing Point goes on to. He is going on to then a fresh set of soft tyres. Okay then, so he doesn't think this rain's going to last, unless that was a complete mistake. It is only a 1 stop, so I don't see why he's going to be pitting onto the soft tyres anyway. An interesting call there for Jay Wizzy, but we'll see if that was intentional or not. as Sly Guy still leads the way. Netsky is still being put under pressure from the Haas behind him. Rappel looking to continue his great start to his season, shall I say, after joining for the last 3 rounds, I believe. And he's sitting nicely in a podium position with Kazakhs sitting very comfortably in 4th place too. The Williams driver has been very consistent this season, and he finds himself currently sat in 4th place in the table. So 4th place currently in a race and 4th place in the table. And I think he's just there or thereabouts found his position for the race. He'll sit there, be dragged along by the drivers in front. But Silly Sly Guy's dragging himself along in a minute with that Renault engine, ploughing him up turn 2 and up the hill towards turn 3. He's doing a great job holding it out at the front. And at the moment, not too much happening. A little bit of probably waiting, a bit of a waiting game. See if this rain's going to increase. At some point, it will go back to dry. I have been informed as the 2 McLarens swap positions. These 2 are choppy and changing, different tyre compound, and Jay Prentice making the most of the softer compound. 10 laps old though, as Vapor, Cobalt, and Trench bash. Bit of a Verstappen Leclerc moment going on as Bowers can't get on the power, and that invites James Dovey to the inside party, and he swings across to the racing line, and the F2 commentator switching position. But as you can see, a little bit of an understeering slide through turn number 4. I don't think anything to worry about for the Red Bull driver at the minute. Still no pit stops as of yet. Probably people waiting to see what happens at the front before making their own decisions. It is getting started out there though. It's a question of whether Jeff's going to be on the telephone, on the radio saying box, box, or not at all. But we are approaching the first pit stop sort of normal time for the racing point, for the race. That would normally go onto the hard tyres. Rappel's got past Netsky though in that latest sequence to happen up in turn 3. Kazakhs taking the invites with open hands. As Netsky looking to fight his way back round the outside down the DRS straight. Rappel probably would be a sitting duck, and Kazakhs also a DRS. They get very close to the back of the Haas. They've got to look up the inside of turn 5, and that space disappears as it does every single time a car turns around there. Very close to the back of the Haas there, the Williams driver, but he just pulls out just before contact, and it's good, nice clean racing between 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and Ryder in 5th looking to jump in on the action. But Netsky is now back ahead. A bit of a yellow flag in sector 2. There's a Red Bull going slowly. It doesn't seem to be anything drastic, but Netsky has picked himself up a penalty, so that could mean big things. But I believe that just came up and said DRS is currently disabled. So we'll see if the DRS flap opens this time around. It does. So DRS still in play currently. But it'll be interesting to see what these drivers do if they hold on. These medium runners will be in a perfect position at the minute as these soft tyres are dying. They are dying, I can tell you. They're probably at a lot of their limit. But here comes Rappel for the fight for higher podium positions. No moves made this time around, so the exit out of turn 3 for some of the drivers, not as good as it was beforehand. Okay then, we have a few pit stops happening then, sliding all over the place. Here comes Silly Sly Guy to the pit lane. Let's see what Silly Sly Guy's in the pit lane. Let's see what tyres are going on. It's a crossover period and the intermediates are out of the Renault pit crew. We have an incident out of turn number 9. Oscar Sandblom has lost the car. We'll stay on board to try to see what's happened here. There's an exit of turn number 9. He's just plain pulling the wall there. Almost Kimi Raikkonen-esque there, with his wheel coming off, resembling there through the Alfa Romeo, and we have the few drivers come out the pit lane. It seems Rappel stuck on a pair of medium tyres again, so an interesting choice. Netsky's also going for another set of softs, so maybe he feels the rain is really a few laps out at the minute. But here comes Ryder up the inside of Tribe. They're starting side by side. Ryder's put himself on a new set of medium tyres, but Jay Wizzy is on the intermediates. Let's see what happens here, though, between these two. Intermediates and medium riders. We're still on board with Jay Wizzy, as he seems to be flying down. But it's be interesting here, the exit of turn number 4, to see what tyres are really in game in a minute. And as you can see by the exit and the entrance and the carry speed through, it looks like the intermediates are the tyre of choice. City Sly Guy is still ahead of those drivers behind. He's made the right decision. We have a spinner, do we? Yes, we do. It's Bowers. He's out. He's in the gravel. He's not out the race, but he is out of the gravel. We have Speedy in the pit lane. All sorts going on at the minute. It's all action stations as we speak. But we have a Mercedes sort of just crawling round turn 3. Not entirely sure what's happened. The driver on the hard tyres. Looks like he's having a terrible day at the office. Is Carwin Rob. But for now, we have a chop and change of tyres all over the place. The rain is easing ever so slightly. Very tentative on the throttle are a lot of the drivers. Just give myself a second to sort of work out what's going on here. Netsky is currently the leader of the fresh pitting tyre lads. DRS is still open, but the rain is still coming down. We can see a few slides. We'll see how he takes the corners. But as you can see, locking up into every corner. Slide there. Kazakh's putting Rappel under pressure. Is Jay Wizzy catching now? He is quite quickly. You can see the delta time 1.7 from 1.8, and it's going to go down to 1.6 seconds behind. So maybe for now the intermediate tyres are the one to choose. But Carwin Rob has joined the did not finish lads. Eklund now into the pit lane. Let's see what he puts on. The Alfa Romeo will give Noah Jones the lead of the Grand Prix at the minute. Eklund going to the pit lane, looking at the pit crew, and he has the green stripe tyre out. That means it's the intermediate tyres. And Sligo closing in on Noah Jones then. It's a very, very complicated situation at the minute. It's almost... It seems to be evenly matched then for the intermediates and the new current tyres. I think the intermediates are quicker, but you can tell that some of those drivers are trying to play the long game with Netsky, the likes of Netsky, the likes of Rappel, Kazakhs as well. Ryder putting on a fresh tyres, and Jay Prentice putting on a new set of mediums there as well this time around. But the intermediate runner of City Stargard getting the run on Noah Jones into turn 4, and he regains the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix here at round 7 at CSGB Racing. Eklund getting past Ryder further down. Netsky gets past Isaac 2, making the most of the soft tyres. It's a very interesting game. See how it's going to play out. The weather is still wet, still raining. It's not looking like it's going to stop. No really clear cut in the sky at the minute. Jay Wizzy is putting Kazakhs under all kinds of pressure on the intermediate tyres. We'll stay on board with this battle to see if anything unfolds. It's a strange situation because you see a couple of drivers on the intermediate tyres, but they're still using DRS and they're competing with drivers on the slicker compounds, and it doesn't seem to me like the rain is going to hang around too long. Briley's got speeding in the pit lane. Another penalty for him. He's in the pits, so that is something we need to point out. But as you can see, Kazakhs and Jay Wizzy fighting side by side. He's going to go for a lunge down the inside. He's got more grip on those intermediate tyres. It's a good lunge. He's pushed the Williams wide and he's got the grip for the exit. Has he? Yes, he does. So an 8th position then regained for the driver in front. Rappel, Isaac Racer and Vapor Trench then in a 3-man battle into turn 4. Down goes inside goes Rappel, locking up. You see the wheels, just sliding away into the side of the Mercedes. But he seems to have got its job done just about. Touching at turn 5. The Mercedes wants the inside line. Rappel's going to want the outside. He's going to want that position desperately to not allow that Jay Wizzy pink machine through. But it looks like Jay Wizzy's going to want a battle as well, as he's gone around the outside of the McLaren. And it's a good move there for Jay Wizzy. He's moving up positions as well. Vapor Trench only going backwards. And here comes Jay Wizzy then, trying to make the most of the intermediate tyres in these slippery conditions. So very close at the minute. IMAG's closing on the back of Noah Jones. Netsky getting involved to it. 3 wide. Down into turn number 3. He's going to have the inside line. Netsky has the advantage, but he won't have the exit. He'll compromise that, but the Honda engine getting the power down nice and early. Will Mags be able to come back at him? The yellow flag, that was a Mercedes gone round. Is that Vapor Trench in turn number halfway down straight at turn number 2 before turn number 3 is even arrived. So I'm very interested to see what's happened here. Jay Prentice and James Dovey fighting it out for scraps at a minute. And the wet tyres there of Dovey looking to get the exit, but as you see out the straight line, it is very close, neck and neck. Here comes Dovey then touching, a little bit of movement under braking there from Jay Prentice, but it seems that the intermediates have got the advantage over those medium runners in a minute, and he pulls himself up at 11th position. He'll be quick on the tail of Isaac Racer, I tell you. Jay Wizzy and Rappel then chop and change position. Rappel's losing plenty of time on those medium compounds, but the track is going to dry up, I've been told, at some point down the line. But for now, Jay Wizzy's just moving forward, but he's going to have to pit again if this is going to dry out, as we have 21 laps on the clock with 15 left currently. James Duffy picks himself up a penalty as the race continues in the wet conditions, but not wet enough to disable DRS. Interesting to see that Isaac Racer is now pitted for a new set of soft tyres. Maybe Jeff's been on the phone. Sorry. Maybe Jeff's been on the phone telling him that the weather's clearing. And as you can see, it is lifting ever so slightly. As we now see Sly go into the pit lane. He is going to go back onto the dry tyres. Let's see what the Renault pit crew pull out. It is another set of softs. So then, Netsky regains the lead of the Grand Prix. He's going to be sitting a lovely cushion behind. So the gamble for playing out on the soft tyres has worked a treat. Although he will have to pit again, because that will be he's currently on his second set of soft tyres. So he's got a whole pit stop there or thereabouts on City Sligo. Rappel jumped Sligo 2, as does Kazakhs and Jay Wizzy, but Jay Wizzy's probably going to have to follow Sligo back into the pit lane like he did previously. So the intermediate runners are now coming back on to the pit lane and resetting their tyres onto the dry compound. So a little flurry, a little shower in the middle of this race. But the race will now start to come back to those who decide to take the gamble and stay out on the dry compound. But it's all to play for now. A few tactical decisions left, I think, with 14 laps to go. But Netsky is very comfortably out in the lead, 3.5 seconds. But we'll have to pit again. We'll take a quick look at stops. Noah Jones has yet to pit then. 21 laps on the medium tyres. He's done a brilliant job in a minute. So he'll be going to softs at some point. And as I say it, he does. So the Ferrari is into the pit lane. And he is the only people at the minute not to pit. Jay Whitty goes into the pit lane. But currently, Netsky leads the way. A very good strategical decision from him at the minute. Rappel regains the podium place and he'll be hunting down IMAX ahead of him. But he's quite a distance up the road from the Haas driver. And Kazakhs is putting him under all sorts of pressure now. We're still on board with the Williams to see if he can make a move down to turn 4 with the assist of DRS. No, DRS did not get disabled, remember, throughout the wet period of the race. But that rain has simply disappeared now. And we are back to full dry racing conditions in the Spielberg circuit. Vapor Trench passing. But Jay Wizzy, oh blimey, it's very close in this little pack. We'll stay on board with Eklund to get the rear view. It's going to be 4 wide. Don't make any late moves there, lads. And they don't. Sweeping around the outside goes Eklund. Vapor Trench is in the wall. A little bit aggressive there from the Alfa Romeo. He had cars ahead of him. Sweeps around the outside. I'm not sure if that was just a misplaced braking from Vapor Trench or closing the door of from Eklund there. Clearly got the more grip in the brand new soft tyres. He's going to pass Jay Prentice too. Jay Prentice pulls to the left. Turn 9 quickly appears for the two drivers. But a little incident there as Vapor Trench went round. You won't be happy with that. With 4 drivers going into that turn, it's never ever going to be a pretty outcome, and it wasn't. And unfortunately, Vapor Trench paid the price, and he's into the pit lane as well. So he's going to be changing onto the soft tyres, as you can see. So he's lost time there on his in lap, and that will not do him any favours at all. I didn't have the best camera angle of that action, but looked like there was a collision there, which sent Trench nearly into the wall, not quite. But Noah Jones closing then. Sly Guy, sorry, closing on Kazakhs. He steeps down the inside of turn number 7. And at the exit of 8, the Renault driver has 4th place. He has almost 10 seconds to catch up if he wants to win this race, but he's on brand new tyres. And I wouldn't put it past the pacey Brit to try and get back up the order and contend. But Netsky currently running away, but remember he does have a penalty to his name as we have 11 laps to go left here. And hopefully the racing continues as it has been already. It's been quite clean, if I do say so myself. As W picks up another penalty. It's been fairly clean. A couple of instances here and there. Haven't caught everything on the camera, but as we say this down the DRS straight, Silly Sly Guy gets past Rappel and will continue to pull away, I'm sure, on the soft compound. IMAX will probably have to pit again at some point. There's no way those softs are going another 10 laps. But Netsky will also have to pit as well, so Sly Guy, I believe, will do a good job here. Because he changed onto the wet compound. So I'm pretty sure he can finish the race on these tyres. If anyone in the comments does know whether if you do go onto a wet compound, if you can go onto a wet compound, you can then go back onto another set of softs and only use one dry compound tyre. You have to use 2. I think that's the case. I'm not totally sure. So if anyone can clear that up, that would be much appreciated. In the comments, and we'll take a look now to see if anything is being said. As we say this, we'll jump on board with a battle between the McLarens and Jay Wizzies, who's currently in the sandwich. As we see Jay Wizzy pull out to the outside. He's going to the outside line for turn number 3. And he has the move done as we run on board with Isaac Races closing on the back of his teammate. Trying to find the comment section very quickly. There's a contact there between the McLaren. He's going to allow the other McLaren through. And they're trying to defend each other's positions, and ultimately that's cost them more. Not too much in the comments, but Isaac Racer took advantage there, and he has got past the 2 drivers fighting ahead of him, and his teammate has paid the price as Jay Prentice has dropped back 2 positions. IMAX then chooses to pit now. Where will he come out? He remains in 5th place with Noah Jones right behind him, but New Rubber will be pulling him along. Netsky has pitted as well then. 4th place for him. He'll have some catching up to do if he wants a podium place. Kazakhs, Rappel and Silly Sly Guy will all be going to the end as we now enter single figure laps remaining. And Silly Sly Guy will be able to pull away, although he does have a penalty now of 3 seconds. And Rappel needs to stay within that window if he wants to win this race. Those softs will drop off come the end of the race, so maybe if Rappel could just stay within 3 seconds, the race will come back to him on those medium compound. And he is doing a good job to stay there. Kazakhs and Netsky also have penalties, so maybe IMAX fancies a trip to the podium too, but he's got to close that gap quite dramatically. Probably won't be happening anytime soon. But only one battle within the 1 second mark. That is between the drivers on screen now. Noah Jones and IMAX then fighting it out for 5th place. You just see how much Noah Jones gained there on turn 1. And he's probably going to make the move happen before turn 3 appears. And the Ferrari has the inside line, a purple sector as well to add to the basket. And swooping down the outside, that's the inside, shall I say, goes Noah Jones. And 5th place is his. But will IMAX be able to fight back with the DRS wing open? The answer's going to be no, not this time around, but he may try it again on the main straight. things are getting close between Ryan, Tribe, and Tribe at the back. And it seems that Ryder's got past Tribe, and Tribe is currently sat at the back of the field. I'm not sure he'll be too happy with his performance today. But sort of summarises the season so far that Red Bull are having, and it's not one that's going to be looked back on anytime soon as one to remember. As Kazakhs looks to go down the inside of Rappel at turn number 4. Will a switch back happen for the Haas driver? He's still there, he's still on his inside. Kazakhs always giving room. And car number 66 stays in second place. So a good move from the Finnish driver. And he stays in second place, and Rappel just dropping back ever so slightly, but he knows he's got the penalties ahead of him, so he doesn't need to fight too hard for podium position at the minute. He's currently sitting quite comfortably in third place. Is the young Brit, and he's looking just to maybe hope that Kazakhs can tow him along. But currently, City Sliker's pulled out a lovely gap ahead of him, making the most of those soft tyres. Netsky's looking, hasn't finished on the podium. I think it's the first time, last time out in all 3 seasons, I believe. And it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get anywhere near the podium this time around either, with 6 laps to go. So Netsky has some serious competition in CSGB F1 this season. IMAX and Noah continuing their fight up the DRS sections, and there's going to be another one opening here. Will IMAX be close enough to make a move? Noah Jones seems to have got a great exit out of turn 3. And the answer is he's not going to be close enough again. So Noah getting the exits spot on those soft compound of tyres. 6 laps remain. And Rappel looking to try and close in on the back of Kazakhs. We'll have DRS then. Be silly to make a move into turn number 1. He's not going to be close enough anyway. But he's, like I say, he's probably going to want to be towed along as we see the flap close shut as he enters turn 1 and then reopens as he exits the corner. That's how close these DRS zones are together. The same thing will happen here. Shuts close into turn 3 and will reopen just a few metres later, right about now, as he opens it up again for the entrance down to turn number 5 or 4. 4, I think. Yeah. It might be 5. I might be saying it. Is that kink? It might be 5. Oh well. You know what I mean. Close though, between the midfield. Between Eklund to Noah Jones, we have a very close battle on our hands. Nothing too close though to trouble the steward's office, as we do see a lunge back here from Bowers on Rainman. These people just contesting a fight. But Jay Prentice is perfectly positioned ahead with no penalties, so he may gain a few places if he can keep it clean. But for now, Rappel and Kazakhs continue their fight to try and chase after City Sly Guy. Take one more look at the penalties. Kazakhs has 5 seconds. That's probably for speeding in the pit lane, to be honest. So that's not going anywhere too soon. But City Sly Guy is sat out in the lead, and he is probably feeling quite comfortable out there now, because Rappel needs to close 3 seconds if he stands any chance of winning this race at all, which isn't looking very likely at this current moment in time. But as we flick back down the grid, IMAX is currently in a sandwich of 2 Ferrari engined powered cars. Noah Jones and Eklund just all towing each other along quite nicely at the minute. I think they'll be quite comfortable with the points they're picking up for their teams, but I'm sure we'll see some late dashes with only 3 laps left now, as these lot round the final 2 corners for the 33rd time. And there you have it, crossing the line. Plenty of ERS in store for IMAX. The other 2, the opposite is very much said. Not quite as much ERS in the bank. Is Rappel getting close enough to making a move on Kazakhs? I'm not sure if he wants to make a move. Kazakhs has very little ERS in hand, and Rappel's just saving it, so he's going to go for a late push. Probably, maybe doesn't need to. Silly Sly Guy Probably has this win in the bag, barring any late mistakes. It's getting a little bit closer between the mid-pack. A lock up from Noah there though, from the Ferrari, but he keeps the car cemented to the floor. And he'll be happy with that, I'm sure. 2 tenths behind, as we saw a couple more penalties happening behind. As you see the trees blowing in the wind at the Red Bull ring. Car's flinging it down around his high-paced circuit. One of the shortest circuits on the calendar in terms of lap time. In fact, it is the shortest timed lap on the calendar. Monaco, of course, is the shortest lap. But this isn't too far behind. This is just pure speed. And DRS overtakes happen one corner and the reverse overtake happens into the next. We may see an example of that as they go into turn number 3. Jay IMAX down the inside, then Noah Jones a little bit of a slide. Will he get the exit? Their racing points will be side by side then down to turn 4 and 5. Here he comes, and that's an awful camera angle. We cannot see anything going on. But it seems to me that Jay Wizzy's got the move done, unless it's going to be an audacious dive down the inside from Eklund. No, so these lot remain in the same positions as they did. As we see a bit of fighting going on back here between Jay Prentice and Jay Wizzy, the two Jays fighting it out. A little bit of a barge there from Jay Wizzy as he just looks to cement his position. But it's a lovely little switchback from Jay Prentice. He's going to hug the inside line of turn number 8. A little bit slippery on the power, but it's a great move there from the McLaren. And he puts himself back up into 9th place. But I'm telling you what, Jay Wizzy's going to come back twice as fast now as we now begin the penultimate lap. And Sly Guy leading the way, like he has done since he's joined. He's recovered. Incredible pace from the Renault driver. His teammate, who started off so well in qualifying, is currently sat in 15th. Not great for the Renault team, but doing a good job indeed. Not close enough though, Jay Wizzy in this case. No soft tyres, like I said, probably feeling a lot of pain in a minute. Can he get the exit to try and close in on JP down to turn number 4? He's closing, but it's not going to be close enough to make a move, and he stays in 10th place. So McLaren in 8th and 9th, both in the points, doing a good job for the team. Here comes IMAX then, looking to mount a charge on the back of Noah Jones. So the final lap has begun, so we'll stay on board with this battle then. A little bit high up the field between Netsky and Rappel. Rappel is currently sat very nicely in this position. Kazakhs is going to drop down the order, there's no doubt about that. Rappel is fighting now with Kazakhs. He just wants to escape the train. He's going to try and put some pressure on Sly Guy, but these lot are fighting. There's no need to fight because penalties are going to decide it eventually anyway. Maybe they're trying to force Rappel into a penalty. But around the outside goes the Williams. Down the inside now comes the AlphaTauri. Netsky takes 3rd place for now. That's probably where he'll stay unless Rappel can make any mistakes. But coming around the final couple of corners now, here comes Silly Sly Guy. He's led from the start. He's been P1. A little interchange onto the intermediate tyres, cost him a bit more time, and he's going to cross the line in 1st place. A little wiggle there to celebrate, and he takes the win. Great race from C Sly Guy. He'll be happy with himself for that one. Top stuff from the Renault. Here comes Rappel then. He'll take 2nd, I'm sure. Netsky will take 3rd, and Kazakhs will take 4th. Noah Jones then, 11 seconds back, taking turn 9. Nice and full with a lot of curb. And down into turn 10, he can take it easy on the throttle. He'll come across in 5th, but not for long, as IMAX will take that position from him. He'll stay 6th. Eklund will take 7th. Isaac Race is coming to the line. 6 seconds. Penalties for him. He should be in 10th place, but I'm pretty sure he will stay there as Jay Prentice will come and round the final corner to take 9th, and Jay Wizzy will be the man to take the final point position for the Racing Point team. James Dovey, another disappointing outing for himself as he gets a 5-second unserved penalty. Bowers will take 13th, Rainman 14th, Ryder 15th, and the lone man of Tribe comes across the line to finish proceedings here in a feature race at Austria. What a race, what a performance from Silly Sly Guy. Great action for the battle for the final podium positions, but it's all sorted out in terms of penalties in the end. Isaac Racer picks up the driver of the day from Codemasters themselves. But here's your podium then, here's your podium celebration. Sly Guy gets the phone out, whips out a selfie for the fans and picks up his trophy and points to those who made it all worthwhile. But there's the celebrations, the champagne's out, Haas, Renault and of course AlphaTauri in the lone figure of Netsky in the points today. Simply breathtaking from Silly Sly Guy from start to finish. The two other drivers choosing to take the dry stop approach. But here we are, the final classification. Silly Sly Guy takes pole position, takes first place on the podium and takes the fastest lap 0.2 with a 1:05 dead. That's absolutely rapid from him. Rappel takes second, Netsky is in third, Kazakh is in fourth. Mr. Consistency sits there pretty much every race. IMAG's fifth, he'll be happy with that. Noah Jones sixth, he picks up vital points again. Eklund is seventh, Isaac Racer eighth. With Jay Prentice ninth and Jay Wizzy rounding off the points positions with all other drivers not finishing the points. We have 4 not finishers today in the feature race. They'll be at the back still for the feature race, for the sprint race in about 15 minutes time. But that's Carwin, Oscar and Vapor and Mesa all out of action for the feature race at some point along the line. But that's been it for the feature race, and it's been all guns blazing. But another win for Silly Sly Guy and more vital points for Rappel, and Netsky just stays out in the lead, defending himself, picking up good positions for his title charge for the 3rd time in a row. But we will be back very shortly with your sprint race entertainment, and yeah, I'll catch you in about 5 or 10 minutes time. Okay everyone, welcome back to CSGB F1 racing. We are here tonight for the sprint race now, the reversed grid of the final standings from the feature race. I will have to change this from a feature race to a sprint race. There you are, nicely done, job done. Let me run you through the order then that will be lining up in a couple of moments time. Leading the way will be Tryby, followed by Ryder and Rainman and Bowers. His F2 commentary partner Dovey will be right behind him in 5th. Trench will be in 6th. Jay Wizzy will be 7th, with Prentice and Isaac Racer representing McLaren in 8th and 9th. Eklund will be starting from 10th. Noah Jones will be in 11th, with IMAGs, Kazakhs, Netsky all following behind. Rappel Sly Guy in 15th and 16th, and Oyor did not finish as will be down in 17th, 18th, 19th and 20th. That'll be Cohen, Rob, Oscar, Cobalt and Messer. So that is how your lineup is looking for the sprint race. The sun is out, which is a good sign, which means we will have probably a all dry sprint race. Blue skies overhead, and that's what you like to see as the drivers get their final preparations going for their setups and their strategical decisions. And we'll be ready for Tryby to parade us around on the feature for the parade lap, or the formation lap should I say, of the sprint race. But Isaac Racer there readying up early, which is going to get him probably a slap on the wrist later on in the steward's office, and he started the timer way longer than he should have done, and unfortunately people are going to run out of time now to get their setups on before lights out. So yeah, not the ideal situation, but here we go then. Get ready for the formation lap, and Tryby in the Red Bull at the Red Bull ring, and leads us over the line. Let's have a quick look then at the chosen tyres. Obviously soft medium or medium soft will be the way to go around here. We have Tryby going long then early on the medium compound from first place. He has two soft runners behind him of Ryder and Rainman, and Bowers also chooses to go onto the medium tyres, with James Dovey and Vapor Trench choosing the opposite. Jay Wizzy and Jay Prentice opt to go on the mediums, and the other McLaren chooses to go on the alternative strategy of the soft. Eklund and Noah Jones choosing opposite compounds. And a good mix, as we have 3 drivers disqualified from the formation lap, which is always clever, always something you love to see. And it's 3 of them. That is Sly Guy, Cohen, Rob and Oscar all out, and they'll be happy with that, I'm sure. Not. Red Bull then, currently sat in 1st and 5th position. They've been struggling all season to find points, whether that's in the feature race or the sprint race. It just never seems to turn out to be their day, but they're sat in a great position here to pick up vital points in the top 8. In top 8 positions to pick up points here, and they will need points for sure. But I'll very much expect to see the likes of Sly Guy, Rappel and Netsky fly through the field, picking up positions. And I'll be interested to see if 1 or 2 of them, in fact, will get on the podium. I wouldn't put it past the very talented drivers. And we're getting ready now for lights out for the 2nd time this evening here at Austria for our 18-lap sprint race, as all cars have been given now the green light to get underway. Hopefully no first lap safety car like we had last time out. But here we go then. Will the lights sequence start in time with the engines? They sure will. 4 lights, 5 lights, the clutches are engaged, and the cars get underway here in Spielberg. It's a good start for Ryder. He's going to put all sorts of pressure under Tryby, but Tryby keeps the position. Knocks a little bit wide there. We have a Ferrari round. I'll go back to that in just a moment's time. It is Bowers round at turn number 1, and the other one is round 2. So we have both Ferraris spinning it out of turn number 1. It's a terrible start for them. That is not ideal for those pairings, but we have yellow flags, but nothing major happening. Ryder has got past Tribe early on into the sprint race. Tribe holds his own into P2, and James Dovey's got up to P4 from the start. So a good start for the Red Bull boys. A little bit of chopping and changing here as Kazakhs has already got to P7 from somewhere miles back. So he's done an absolutely brilliant job. Has the Williams driver. Jay Wizzy's going forward too, and Eklund's dropping back for a field. Vapor Cobalt's going to want to look down the inside here, but not close enough to make a move. We have blue flags. Rappel's gone round. One of your men who's been in fine form this season is gone round, and he's into the wall at the exit of turn number 8. And we have more yellow flags. It's all very tight. It's all very scrappy. We have Eklund into the pit lane, but Rappel has gone round, and that is nicht gut, as he would want me to say in German. That's not good for him, and he's going to be put right at the back of the grid with Noah Jones as we see Eklund into the pits. The only remaining car to go into the pit, so nothing happening too bad. Tribe's dropped. Tribe has not dropped back, just that James Dovey has gone forward. Rainman looking to go up the inside of James Dovey, but James Dovey parks his car right in the middle of the circuit into the corner, and he'll keep third position now. The question is whether there will be issues or team orders issued, whether James Dovey can get past Tribe. James Dovey has proven he is the faster driver in the majority of qualifying sessions this season. As we get another reminder of the strategical decision available to the drivers today. But James Dovey getting close to the back of his teammate, and Rainman is getting very close to the back of the other Red Bull driver. DRS now enabled and opening for some of the drivers. Tribe lets his teammate past. He's going to try and slow down the approaching AlphaTauri driver, but he's going to go past 2. And Tribe's lost 2 positions into one corner there, unless he can hold it round the outside. Can the Red Bull? No, he can't. He's now going to be under pressure. All sorts of pressure from the Mercedes, but it seems to me that Tribe's going to try and fight it back. Down turn forward, turn 5. Hard on the brakes. Down the inside goes Rainman. Side by side with Tribe, but Tribe loses out. And he's dropped down again. There comes Vapor Trench. Down the inside of turn 6. Contact made, and round goes the Mercedes. There's not really much room into that corner, never is. He's always going to close, but needs to be careful rejoining here as Jay Prentice is getting involved now. I don't think Trench needed to go for a move there. The space was there, but it always closes on that corner. So unfortunately, Trench is going to get caught up, and it's all sorts of things happening here. We have a big crash, big crash, big crash. Jay Prentice out. There's a lot of cars across there. One car went round, I absolutely missed that, but that is 2 cars out. Jay Prentice and Vapor Cobalt on the receiving end of an absolute kerfuffle as Jay Wizzy goes straight across the grass into the pit lane. That'll be looked at, that'll be caught on stream. Not great for him, but there's a virtual safety car and people choosing this time to go into the pit lane. Jay Prentice will not be happy with that. Turn 1 incident, and now that. That was pure disaster, and that's left a lot of drivers up in a heat. And needing damage and repairs, but Ryder leads the way from James Duffy, from Rainman, from Tribe, from Kazakhs, from Vapor to Isaac Race, and Netsky. City Slide Guy has got himself up to 9th, very nicely for him. Noah has done a good recovery job, as has Rappel getting past his teammate. But that was a mess. That was a domino effect. I think again it was like we saw last time, 2 weeks ago in the sprint race. Too many cars getting too close to each other in such a small area of the track, and once one thing happens, it's a domino effect all the way down. With no ghosting on, as soon as one car goes round, another one's going to follow, and when you're that close to each other, it's not going to end well. Noah's got 5 seconds to speed in the pit lane. We're back underway and racing. We somehow didn't have a safety car there. I'm just as surprised as you probably are. But that was quite simply a disaster for a lot of drivers. But Tribe's falling back down the order again, and Kazakhs has taken advantage of the deep line into the corner from Tribe, and he'll get the exit. Both got DRS, but he's not going to just shoot each other now just to pull away from the cars behind. But that was a complete and utter mess. It took a mess. Messerschmitt has gone onto the hard tyres, strangely, when I'm pretty sure the mediums would go quite comfortably to the end of the race. But he's down in 16th place And his day's going from bad to worse here in Austria. Little bit of train forming now behind Kazakhs. Behind Rainman, sorry. Ryder has got pace. He showed he's got pace, so unfortunately for him, he found himself at the back four of the feature race. But having the pace and the pace he's got to pull away, he'll be doing a good job here to win this sprint race. But here comes the Williams past Rainman, and he takes third position for Kazakhs. Looking for two good results so far. He's worked his way up the order very nicely indeed. 10 positions up for the Williams driver, and he's used all that ARS already, but it's been put to good use, that is for sure. You scroll through the field now, we see a bit of lock-up from Netsky. He's made the most of instance ahead of him, and he's got up a few positions as well, so he's done a good job so far in the sprint race. Wiggling about there from Vapor Trench, but he's learnt his lesson from earlier on. He will not be making any silly moves down the inside of drivers at a minute. But Red Bull doing well here. James W in second. He's moved up a few positions. Tribe just sort of trying to hold up those behind him now. He knows drivers behind have got good pace. But here goes Netsky down the inside of Vapor Trench. He's being pushed all the way. We're 3-1 into turn 1. Do not do that again, lads. And Vapor Trench rightly pulls out. Great decision from him. Good driving from the drivers, but now it's just going to be an absolute mess into turn number 3. We have a racing point round in sector 2, but we'll go back into that later. It's very tight. Anything can happen again here. 3 ride round turn 3, and they're still going to be still going to be like 3 or 4 wide down into the next turn as well, as it's now side by side between Isaac Racer, but he pulls ahead, and Tribe is just dropping positions now, and he's got to take 3 wide down the inside and 3 to not go into 2. And the Renault, obviously, Sly Guy there has been ushered out of play, and he stays behind the pack for now. But Tribe has just fallen back as IMAX has called it a day in the pit lane. He's had enough, and there'll be no more points for him as his teammates in 17th. So racing points, sprint race, not the best at the minute, not the best. More yellow flags up ahead. Oh dear, we have the car coming out of the pit lane. It is that of IMAX, who has retired, and his car's going to come out of the pit lane still unghosted, so hopefully this doesn't cause too many problems going up into the turn 3, and his car's turned off the track, and thank the Lord it has, otherwise that could have caused a big old collision up here. But here comes Kazakhs then on the back of James Dovey. He's got the run, he's certainly got the speed carrying on. A little bit of a odd decision there to steer across to the left. Probably got a little bit wobbly as he tried that with the excess speed carrying with the DRS open, but he seems to have got the move done just without causing a collision. And the Williams moves up to second place. We have more yellow flags. We have another quitter, and it's Jay Wizzy this time calling it a day. And both racing points out of the sprint race with 8 laps into an 18-lap contest. And it's game over for Racing Point. No points for them. But the pits have now opened. The pit stops are happening. Ryder, Netsky, Isaac, Vapor Trench, Tribe, and Rappel into the pit lane. We know that Netsky likes an undercut. But we'll stay on board with the front 2 as Dovey has got himself a penalty. He will probably be pitting this lap. He'll have the DRS to turn around. He shouldn't really take this opportunity to fight with Kazakhs. Just use it as a chance to tow each other along and try and get a good in-lap as they can. Sly Guy's got past Isaac Racer then. He's probably looked to try and get past Netsky as well with no assist of DRS. He's looking to the inside, and Netsky brake extremely early there, going for the switchback. He pulls out that one. Almost looked like silly Sly Guy outbroke himself, but Sly Guy finds himself up into 5th place on the reverse strategy. And he will be flying away from Netsky, I'm sure, on that soft compound. So a great job from him so far. Work his way up from the back of the grid. Let's say so for Rappel, who had a horrible spin earlier on. That would not have helped his cause. But the front 3 all into the pit lane then. We'll see where Ryder comes out. Will he overtake all the car? James Levy's gone to hard tyres. I don't know why. Probably a mistake from the pit crew. But a rider will retake the lead of the sprint race. Will his Renault teammate get any positions back as well? That is a question. As he sets the fastest lap, the Sly Guy. He's going to take turn 1 as quickly as he can. And he will take 3rd place currently. And they run up to turn 3. With a Red Bull right behind him with James W on the fresh, hard tyres. He's going to be angry about that one, I'm sure. And he's only going to drop back with those tyres on. Yellow flags out of turn 1. Mercedes round. Carwin Rob is doing donuts on the track. Vapor Trench and Tribe fighting. Tribe only gone backwards so far in this race, but he's doing the points just there or thereabouts in the last point position in 8th place. Netsky close to Dovey though, and it won't be long till he gets past him, I'm sure, as Dovey's on the hard tyres. I think Jeff's got some explaining to do, and that Red Bull camp may have got the strategical decision all wrong here. And I think it may be time for Netsky to get the job done and move up into 4th place. Won't be done here though, as Netsky doesn't have any ERS left. James Duffy sort of just parking the bus in a minute, but he might get him here. More yellow flags as we have another Mercedes off. It's Carwin Rob again, and Carwin Rob has retired on the track, which is not the most ideal thing from the Mercedes driver, as he is retired on the track and his car's going to stay on the circuit. But here comes Sly Guy down the inside of Kazakhs, and he takes 2nd place. So currently 1st and 2nd for the Renault team, and Sly Guy's put an absolute shift in here, and he's not messing around today. A few crunches coming from the Red Bull, probably growling at him, asking why he's put him on the hard tyres. But James Dovey's not falling too far behind Netsky here. Oh my, that's ridiculous, man. Carwin Rob has retired on track, and he's caused the end of the race from Netsky and James Dovey. This is why you don't retire on track when ghosting's happening, guys. That's just terrible. That's caused a full-on safety car. That is horrendous. That is simply not good enough. That is simply not good enough. And now we have a full core safety car, and Netsky's been robbed of points. That is shocking. That is simply shocking. Well, we have a safety car, and that's going to make the whole race interesting. And it was so easily avoidable. But I mean, that is simply why you don't retire on track when you've got no ghosting on. And that's what's going to cost Netsky vital points towards his title challenge. It's just not necessary. And unfortunately, that's ruined what was going to be a good race, and unfortunately it's going to take away a lot of pleasure these guys are going to have on their Monday evenings. And if anyone's watching from F2, simply do not do that, because it causes disastrous side effects. And we've had an awful collision there, and it's just ruined the races of some drivers. Yeah. That unfortunately is what happens. That is what happens, unfortunately. We have 7 cars out of the sprint race already, and we've only 13 drivers left on the track. I mean, we had a full grid today. It's great to see all these drivers coming back every week, and there's no reserves in tonight, I don't think. I think Isaac may be a reserve, as we had one guy drop out, unless Isaac's taken a full seat. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. But I know the fact that this full when we're like 7 rounds in, and unfortunately that was simply horrendous. And Netsky, who, you know, he's trying to defend his title, he's out there on the leaderboard, and he's done a great job coming from the back of the grid, has been absolutely wiped out by an AI just sweeping his way onto the circuit. And not much you can do when that happens. You had no idea no idea you can wrap from that. You're taking that corner of turn 9 into turn 10 at well over 150 mile an hour. And when a car pulls out on you like that, you've got more chance of reacting to anything than that. But we've got an interesting heck race in our hands now, though. It's a new race for 4 laps, 3 laps really, after the safety car comes in at the end of this one. But it's going to have some tints on it. It's going to be a tinted race, and people will look back at this one for all the wrong reasons rather than the right ones. And over the last couple of weeks, it's not been the best racing at all in these sprint races. And I think you've just got to make sure that even if you don't crash out, you don't lose a wheel, you might as well take it to the end. Just, you know, get more experience racing on the track. Come back next week and fight harder. But you just see how dangerous it is to retire and call it a day. But when you quit like that, it's just not going to be great. But safety car is coming in this lap. Tribe's worked his way back up to 3rd place. We have a few new drivers on fresh tyres. Only 2 left on the medium. So Rainman and Kazakhs may be sitting ducks for the final 3 laps. But we have a Sly Guy. He's worked his way up from the back of the grid. He will be trying to get us underway again in a couple of corners' time. So let's see what he can do in terms of back up the field and trying to get a good restart. As we get a lovely camera angle over the hump into turn number 9, with a train of 20 cars behind him. The safety car is in the pits then, and one final corner before he engages the throttle, and he goes now. There are a few multiple warnings. We don't seem to have any crashes behind. It's a good restart from Sly Guy. He's kept his position quite comfortably. And doesn't seem to be much else going on through the grid. We'll stay here to see if anything does happen out the exit of turn 1. Isaac Racer's getting a bit hungry down the inside of the Ferrari. Looks like the move should be done quite comfortably unless Bauer's going to fight around the outside. And you know what? He probably is at this point. He wants the points. He needs the points after his last race. And unfortunately, Isaac Racer's got through for the Ferrari. And he stayed currently in 8th place. Rainman and Rappel through side by side. Rappel around the outside, clips the wing of... Oh my god, another one. Oh, another one, unfortunately. We have another unfortunate incident, and that is Rainman and Ryder getting too close. 3 wide into a corner. Probably can only take 1 car, and it's another car into the wall. And another 2 people's race is finished. And that's just simply shocking yet again. I mean, I don't know where you're going to go. It's just sticking your nose in the wrong place. But yeah, you know, it is what it is, and this has been an absolute disaster. But here comes Eklund then, on the inside of Bowers. He gets the move done before turn 1, probably. Yes, good move from Eklund, an actual clean move in this race we've seen, as the 2 Ferraris now getting towed along by each other. But Silly Side Guy leading the way. Kazakh's doing a good job. Rainman's called it a day, and I think Ryder's going to do the same thing. And we have 11 people left. This is it's good. It's good. Good top stuff. Top stuff. Sort of lost a word now as to what's going on. We have 2 laps to go. And now we don't really have much action. I mean, we're having great action before that happened. We've got 11 drivers left, so we've got a battle for points, really. It's unfortunate. It's annoying. But we still got yellow flags. But we're back under racing again. 2 laps to go once Silly crosses the line. I mean, Silly's done a great job this race, and he's led from the front. A DRS enabled yet again. But here we go then, fighting between a Haas and a Red Bull. Will it end in tears like majority of fighting has done tonight in this sprint race? And the answer is probably not with these 2, as these 2 give each other a lot of respect. They always do. We get a terrible camera angle now. As they go side by side, both got DRS somehow, so that's interesting. Maybe leeching off Kazakhs in front. Side by side still had the wrong camera angle there. I do apologise, but Well, I say Rappel's got the move done. He hasn't knocked just yet. Tribe's got to fight down the inside. He's got a good entrance into the corner. It's going to be tight. It's going to be even tighter. And Rappel just about gets the move done. I had to hold my breath there because I was fully expecting to see the Red Bull facing the wrong way as the camera angle changed. But Sly Guy's not messing around. He wants 2 wins from 2. And I wouldn't put it past the very talented Englishman. But Tribe is going to be put under pressure. All kinds of pressure into turn 1 from Isaac Racer. Turn 1's not a place to make a move, mate. But he's done it anyway. And it seems somewhat fair despite the contact. But Tribe's dropped back down the order again. Vapor Trench looking to put him under pressure. And Eklund's going to make it 3 wide. Bish Bash Bosh off the wheels. Down the inside. He wants 2 into 1. Tribe's getting swarmed left, right and centre. And Tribe's going to be fighting with the Alfa Romeo to try and get a position back. The question is, he's looking to the inside, is Tribe. He's going to pull out now, but he's not going to make a late lunge into turn 4. Contact again between the 2 drivers. This time it was more wing on side panel action. Eklund trying to get the entry for turn number 8. 6, sorry, now into 7. But it's good action as we now go into the final couple of corners of what has been literally a disaster. It's been more of a crash fest than a race. But here we go then, coming up to the final corner, the final time. 2 out of 2 for Sly Guy. Simply world class. And Kazakh follows him over. Rappel takes 3rd. He's recovered well. But Isaac takes 3rd. Rappel drops down. Eklund 4th. Tribe 5th. Vapor Trench is in 6th. And, well, the rest is history. I'm going to give driver of the day to Silly Sly Guy because, well, you don't just do that. That's not natural. And as you can see, the game also rewards him for it. But this one's going to be spoken about for a good couple of hours in our chat. I have no doubt about it. I mean, it's probably a fun spectacle to watch. There was definitely a lot of action going on, almost too much at some stages. But simply that is a mess. We only have 11 driver finishing of 20 around a circuit where it's not even tight, and it just shouldn't be happening. There's so much runoff area on this circuit. It's not a circuit you consider with retirements and crashes and all things like that. But we'll go on. We'll have a look at the final standings and the 11 finishers. We have Sly Guy from 16th to 1st, doing a great job for his team and just doing a great job for himself in general. Absolutely incredible from him. Both 2 races. He takes fastest lap as well. So max points you can possibly get for Sly Guy. Kazakh 2nd, Isaac 3rd, Eklund 4th, Tribe, Vapor Trench, Rappel, Messer, Bowers, Noah and Oscar, and the rest of them I don't think we're going to talk about because that was the definition of a mess. But yes, guys, thanks for watching this entertaining sprint race. Thanks for watching this. The feature race was a brilliant race, so if you fancy going back and watching that, I sure do suggest it. But this was an absolute mess, and I hope next week is a lot brighter than this, and I hope F2 tomorrow is better than this. I hope any F2 drivers watching can learn from this mistakes here. Basically, that has been me, Mr. B-Boy Worm, here at Austria for round 7 of CSGB. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been a pleasure as always. But yeah, thanks for watching. Catch F2 tomorrow night from 7 o'clock with James Dovey and your lead commentator Bowers. But for now, that has been me. Do make sure you subscribe and like, and we'll catch you next week at 7 o'clock for France. Thank you very much for watching.